Welcome back to Callie and Beans Books. I'm Brittany and it is time for my February book corner. I'm also going to be doing my Romance Readathon wrap up today and then give you a preview of what my floating TBR is going to be going forward. I'm really excited about the books that I read in the month of February and look forward to what I have planned upcoming. So first, for my Romance Readathon wrap up, I read a total of 5 books. I know I originally had 6 planned. I didn't get to that 6th one. I actually started it and I wasn't a huge fan, so I actually put it down and picked up something different. I really enjoyed the 5 books that I did finish this month, and I really enjoyed coming up with the prompts and finding books that went along with the prompts that I came up with. So the first one I read in the month of February was My Cupcake by Helena Hunting, and this covered my top anticipated 2020 read, as well as a book that is by my favorite adult romance author. So Helena Hunting has always been my favorite romance author. Alyssa K. Adams is a very close second, but Helena Hunting really got me into reading adult romance last year, and I've enjoyed both of the stories that I've read by her, and My Cupcake was definitely up on my list for anticipated reads because she's one of my favorite authors, and she definitely did not disappoint with this story. Overall, I gave this a 5 out of 5. So overall, I did really enjoy this book. It definitely lived up to the hype I was giving it in my head. I loved it from beginning to end. As soon as we're introduced to the characters, it is so well done. I really enjoyed their rivalry that is set up first, and then that develops into more of a partnership, and then they take it to the next level with more of a romantic partnership. And I loved it. I love reading how their friends kind of shape them too, and when their goals align, it was just really well done. And I liked how we got the conflict more in the beginning of the story, and it's more of an introduction to what's going to lie ahead, instead of getting to the last 50 pages and everything just exploding in the characters' faces. Everything is really introduced in the very beginning of the story, which I really enjoyed. And overall, I'm very happy that this is the book I started with my Romance-a-thon, because I've been so excited to read this book since it came out in August. The next story I picked up is actually a companion to one story that I read in December, and that is Girl Gone Viral by Alisha Ray. And this story worked for 2 of my prompts, the story involving social media as well as a friends to lovers story. Overall, I gave this a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it. I did really like the writing style and the characters themselves. I thought it brought a different, unique aspect to the different conflicts that we get introduced to. However, I just felt like something was missing. The romance was okay. Some points I felt like it was very forced. Definitely got the friendship between the 2 characters and the longing between the 2 of them. We do get a dual perspective, so we get to see how each of the characters are feeling about one another without them telling each other until that final climactic moment where they're like, I want to be with you. However, throughout the entire story, I felt like something was missing. We're introduced to Katrina, who's the main female character in the first story, The Right Swipe, and she has a very mysterious past. Something big had happened and it caused her to go into hiding and developed panic attacks and anxiety. I was really intrigued on how her character was going to develop and getting more of her story. We get bits and pieces, but I still don't feel like we got the full picture of what she went through. It didn't feel like we got her full character's story, and that's probably one thing that was really missing for me. Overall, it was a really cute, fluffy story, and I did enjoy it. It's just overall, I do still feel like there was something missing. The next book I picked up was Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey, and this covered 2 other prompts, the book with a purple cover and a book with a couple on the cover, and I gave this a 5 out of 5. I definitely found a new amazing author that I really enjoyed. Tessa Bailey's writing style was perfect. It's exactly what I was looking for this month. I really enjoyed the characters' relationship and the different dynamic that they have. Overall, I just felt really refreshed by it. It was definitely sexy, definitely steamy, but there were also parts where I was a little uncomfortable too, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, it did have some of the typical tropes you see with the younger sister falling for one of her older brother's friends, so that had that trope in there. It had some other things that were overdone in other books, but I did really enjoy this story, and I look forward to continue reading more from Tessa Bailey. The next book I picked up was The Boyfriend Project by Farrah Rochon. It covered 2 more prompts. It covered the story about the main character finding themselves or bettering themselves, as well as it's written by a person of color. I gave this a 3 out of 5. Overall, I did really enjoy it. Kind of gave me that same feeling as Girl Gone Viral, though, that something was missing. The main character, she is getting ready for this date, and her sister is on Twitter and finds out that the guy that she is seeing is actually on a date with another woman, and she goes and confronts him, which she says that's not something that she usually does. It's just he's right there, it's happening right underneath her nose, and she's like, I'm just gonna go confront him. And while she's confronting him, the third girlfriend confronts him as well, and the three women become friends and make a pact that they are going to focus on themselves, which I thought was an amazing concept. I was really excited about it, and that part of the story was really well done. I really enjoyed that the three women were coming together, and it was more of, let's band together to better ourselves because we don't deserve a guy that's going to treat us like this. And they became really great friends and boosted each other up instead of trying to tear each other down because they were going after the same guy. They just washed their hands of him and became better women for it, and I thought that was really empowering and really great. So that kind of fits the main character finding themselves or bettering themselves, because she also has this app that she's always wanted to develop and always wanted to put forth, and she finally feels empowered to do so, which I thought was really cool too. The romance part of it I felt was kind of forced at some points. It was really interesting seeing the development of the relationship. I thought it was really cute and flirty at sometimes, but I also could see where it was a little manipulative and a little forced. So that was kind of one thing that I didn't really like. Overall, I did enjoy the story. I liked the conflict. I liked how there was a grand gesture. It's just, there was another part missing, and I don't know what it is. I just, throughout the story, I'm like, there's something missing here. Finally, the last story I read in the month of February for my Romance Readathon was American Royals by Katharine McGee. And this covered the forbidden or off-limits love story as well as a romantic historical fiction, and I gave this a 4 out of 5. I loved having the different perspectives and them all being of the female characters in the story. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed getting to know each of the characters on a personal level. It's very political. I absolutely adored the concept of what if George Washington accepted a kingship instead of a presidency. It was so well done. I adored it. I was really nervous going into it because I've never really thought about it, but here we are, and it was amazing. It still followed history as we know it, just that twist of what if it was under a monarchy instead of under a presidency. It was just really interesting, and I enjoyed the concept. There's a couple of different off-limits relationships that are introduced, and the cliffhanger that you're left on at the end is like, wait, what? It's really interesting how the story develops, and you get exactly what you're looking for, and then you turn the page and it's over, which is completely opposite of what I'm used to with romance stories, because usually if there's a companion book, it's a completely different perspective or a couple different characters, but this one actually has a direct sequel, which is really interesting. Overall, I adored American Royals because I was nervous going into it because there was so much hype surrounding the story, and now I understand why there was so much hype. Definitely recommend it. The last prompt that I have was a book with a diverse cast of characters, and I can't decide on which one I want to go under this prompt because both Girl Gone Viral and The Boyfriend Project had a very diverse cast of characters, which was really refreshing because most of the time the romance books that I do read has a cast of Kiss My Cupcake. So it was really nice having the diversity and getting different perspectives and different life stories around the characters. So it was just really nice, and that's why I can't really narrow it down to just the one, because I think both of those stories deserve a shout out for the diversity that the author brought to the table. I really enjoyed them. So the final book I had on my TBR for my Romance Readathon, I was calling like a bonus one because I've had it on my shelf for a while, and that was Sorry Not Sorry by Sophie Ronald. I read maybe 20 pages, and with it taking place in London, it's one of those that I'm like, I can't really connect to the characters, can't really connect to the vocabulary or what's really going on. I might try again, but it's not something I really am in the mood to read right now. So I'm going to put it on the back burner and jump into other books right now. I am currently reading Majesty by Katharine McGee. I'm about 100 pages in and I am adoring this story. We're still getting the same 4 perspectives from the 4 main female leads, and I'm really enjoying seeing how they're responding to the way American Royals ended. I'm hoping we get more answers and we kind of get back to the relationship that we're introduced in American Royals, but we'll see what happens. Going forward, this is the list of books that I have after I finish Majesty. These are the books that I've pulled off of my shelves for the next couple of weeks. The next one is Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey. This is the companion to Fix Her Up, and we are already introduced to these 2 characters in Fix Her Up, and I'm really excited to dive into their story because we're really introduced to these characters on the back burner, and I'm really interested to see what happens with them. And of course, this is one of my long anticipated reads. As soon as I finished the first one last year, I'm like, I need the sequel. So I am so excited to read this, and that is All the Tides of Fate by Adalyn Grace, and this, of course, is the sequel to All the Stars and Teeth. The next 2 books that are on my floating TBR, I picked out basically because of the cover, and the covers remind me of springtime, but reading the synopsis, they have nothing to do with springtime. It's just floral, and I'm ready for spring. I'm so sick of snow. The first one is Wicked Like a Wildfire by Lana Popovic, and the second one is Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore. So I'm really excited about the books that I have pulled off for my TBR. Hopefully these are books that I'll actually finish and complete throughout the month of March and into April. I'm not exactly sure because now we're ramping up on wedding planning again. So hopefully I can get to all these books in between the wedding planning, but we will see. So that's everything for my Romance Readathon wrap up along with my book corner floating TBR. I would love to hear what you guys are up to, what you're reading, what you loved, what you didn't like. If you did participate in the readathon, let me know what books you read. I'd love to hear from you guys. So until next time, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Hit that little bell icon to be notified when we do post new videos. Head over to Goodreads and Instagram to follow our individual and joint accounts, as well as joining our Serpent and Badger book club that we host on Goodreads. All the links will be in the description below. Until next time, bye!